Good night to all fans of sports rap. Tonight in studio, you've got Ronald Lander with Lambert Charles, and connecting with us is Emmanuel Loblack and Thompson Fontaine. Good night, Thompson. Good night, Manu.
Hi, how are you doing? Good to see you.
Yeah, okay.
You looking
Ron, great
fine
to see
form.
you. Welcome back. Welcome back.
All right.
You looking fine form, well rested.
Yes. Well, tonight, what we'll be doing tonight is that we'll be looking at the current issue, as we normally do, for the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we expect contributions in athletics, cycling, basketball, cricket, and football. So we've got quite a number of people to join us tonight to make contributions to add to the value of the program. But where we want to start first is a current issue. A current issue right now in Dominica, the Dominica-China diplomatic relation. We want to speak about that for a while because recently we celebrated the 20th anniversary, and we want to have a quick look at what has transpired over the last 20 years and previously what transpired with Taiwan. We've got a limited amount of time, so we've got to be very focused in our contribution. Let me invite you, Lobi, first, if you have any comments.
Well, yes. First of all, I have comments on what the most present thing I saw on social media. The Prime Minister, what he was trying to advertise, our culture. If you're going up there, you want to advertise culture. You have enough culture groups, potent culture groups in Dominica. But to go out there, and to make a fool of yourself, I was serious. I was quite disturbed, very much quite disturbed. It doesn't go well for us at all. I mean, people were laughing at me, a whole mockery of leadership, But yes, you look at what the Taiwanese did in terms of agriculture. We haven't seen that with the Chinese. Well, I want to say for now.
Okay, thank you very much, Lobi. I now invite Thompson to make an intervention.
Ron, good night again, and good night to your many listeners. I'm glad we're talking about this because this is an issue that all Dominicans should worry about or should be concerned about. I saw the Prime Minister cavorking in China without any care for anything around them. At the end of the day, China is on a yearly basis receiving over $70 million from Dominica in exports. $70 million. That's the money that we're sending to China from Dominica through our imports. And the Chinese have been boasting about that. They're happy about it, a superpower and a very tiny third world country, if you like. Complete imbalance. And I looked at the Prime Minister cavorking and dirty business in China, and I'm thinking, couldn't there be a better relation in terms of what we get out of that relationship? In other words, couldn't, for example, the Prime Minister have taken some small entrepreneurs, some small business persons to China and see how best we can get our goods? China has 1.3 billion people. Surely there must be something that we're doing in Dominica, that we are manufacturing in Dominica, that can appeal to the Chinese. I remember, I've said this, I've given this story many, many times, but I'll say it again tonight in case people have not heard it. In the 2014 elections, when I was competing in the elections, myself and Mr. Linton, we went to visit the Chinese at Mount Daniel. And the China ambassador at the time told us that every time he goes to China, he takes up about 2 boxes of soap. The soap they make up in I think up in the Grand Bay area, coal pot soap. Yes,
coal pot.
Yeah, he takes about 2 cases of coal pot soap to give to his friends as souvenirs because they value that soap so much. They love that soap. So we asked him. We said, "So you mean the government has never approached you to try to get the soap into the market, given that obviously the Chinese like the soap?" to at least, get those soaps up? He says, no, they've never been approached on this. He said they've never had a conversation with the government. So we went actually public with this and hoping that would, invoke this government to do something and to say something about that. Nothing was done. So we're talking about 10 years later, no coal pot soap in China, no nothing. We have several small manufacturers doing all sorts of different products. Some of them doing pepper sauce, some of them doing exotic brews. Some nice alcoholic beverages and so on, and some of them doing fish, dried fish. We have a whole range of small cottage industries that could benefit from that relation with China. And that's where I want to see us going. I want us to be in a position where we're saying, yeah, China is getting 70 million out of us, but we are getting in return from China $170 million. And it can be done. But it can only be done if this government puts in the effort and the energy and really shows that it cares about the people of Dominica. And quite frankly, Ron, where we are, I am not happy with that relationship in terms of what we are getting out of it and what we could be getting out of this relationship.
All right, thank you. Well, I want to put things in perspective. Dominica established diplomatic relations with China in March 2004. This is why we're celebrating the 20th anniversary this year. China provided grants for projects inclusive of the hospital, the sports stadium, the North-South roadway. China provided a loan for the State House project. Our passport money was used by Montreal management to build apartments and health centers employing Chinese, engaging Chinese. There was a low cost of construction, both for labor and material. These projects must have been profitable to be replicated consistently. We hear from technical people, technical analysis, that the work done is of a poor quality. And to strengthen that, there is a high maintenance cost. We can just look at the State House or the North-South Road, the stadium, and the apartments. The maintenance costs already for those young projects are very enormous. When you look at the North-South Road with all the holes and the caking, the next 2-3 years, we won't have a North-South Road, what we call an EO-Libla highway. It's going to be very dilapidated. The future status is very discouraging. If at this stage things are so critical, the maintenance costs, and we have about the maintenance cost for the State House, and the State House was loan funds, yet low quality labor was used in constructing the State House. There was minimal usage of local services, very minimal usage, and the contribution, the construction sector. When we look at the GDP, and Thompson can elaborate on that, when you look at the gross domestic product, the value of goods and services produced in one particular year, construction is a significant contributor. Construction makes a significant multiplier effect in the economy. But most of the construction was done by Chinese labor using Chinese material. So there was minimal impact on our economy. There were large cash outflows. There was a minimal multiplier effect on the Dominican economy, minimal impact on our economy as a whole, although a significant value for construction was recorded in the GDP. Thompson, I'd like to make a comment on that.
Yes, Ron, you are absolutely correct. So what we're seeing is that you have these big projects, this mega project, for example, the EO-Libla Road, you had even the stadium and now the airport. These are mega projects. These are supposed to have a real impact on the economy, but we're not seeing it because you have what we call a leakage with the kind of model.
You call it a leakage and outflow.
A leakage or an outflow. It's called a leakage and outflow. Now, what we mean by that is that most of the resources are going outside of the country. Okay, so you are literally, okay. Let me explain that in as basic terms as possible. If you give a local contractor $100 to build a house for you, or they can be, but let's just make it very simple. I pay a local contractor $100 a day. With that $100 a day, the local contractor will take that $100. He will go to the shop. Okay, let's say he spends the $100 buying groceries from the shop. The storekeeper will now have $100. Okay, the storekeeper will now be able to buy goods from a wholesaler. Let's say that same $100, the wholesaler now has that $100. So you see, with one transaction, you have already created $300. The person, the contractor who gets the $100, the shopkeeper who has his $100 because now they're able to sell their goods, and then the wholesaler who provides his goods. Now you take that same $100 and you give it to a Chinese contractor. That's about where it ends, because practically all of that money goes out of the country.
Yep.
So the impact it would have in economics, we use the word the multiplier effect, and that is what causes the country to really function well. Dominicans refer to it as money meeting money, but the technical term is a multiplier effect, and that is exactly what it is. You see, when this local contractor goes to the shop, the shopkeeper has money, the wholesaler has money, the wholesaler turns around, he employs other people, he pays them from that same $100. The money is circulating, money is meeting money in the economy, and so you have a lot of economic activity being generated. When you give this money to the model that the Chinese employ, because they hardly interact, they bring everything into the country, they import everything that they consume literally. You don't see a Chinese necessarily out at Fort Young having lunch or at some local bar or something. They import all their drinks, they import all their food, they do everything. So that money that you then pay to them does not allow that movement around. It does not have this multiplier effect. It does not help to grow the economy as when you do it. And that's the reason why most countries, in fact, Jamaica, Bahamas, countries that have huge projects with the Chinese, they insist that there must be a certain percent of the locals that must be engaged. And we don't have that in Dominica. And that is something that we absolutely must have, where you ensure, you guarantee that you have this local input, this local involvement, because that makes all of the difference. So that, for example, $100 spent in Dominica and $100 spent in St. Lucia will have a much different impact on the economy in St. Lucia than it does on the economy in Dominica, because of how we engage the Chinese and how we work with them. And that really has to change, Ron. Absolutely, Manu, yes. That has to change. We cannot continue to operate like this, because at the end of the day, and we are left behind. We are left behind. Whilst the Chinese, we are helping to grow the Chinese economy. We are helping to drive growth in China, and Dominica is left behind, or people are left suffering. And Mark, this is not China bashing. I'm not bashing the Chinese.
No.
I'm not bashing the Chinese.
We're looking for interest.
They are looking after their interests. It is up to us
to look
after our own interests.
Yes,
absolutely.
But Fontaine and Orlando alluded to the fact about the word poor quality. He just listen to that. The Windsor Park Stadium. You spoke about Jamaica, Bahamas. When it was there, it was 45-50%. But here in Dominica, we're giving them a carte blanche. We have our technical people looking and see what they're doing. Absolutely nothing at all. The Windsor Park Stadium that was built by the Chinese gentlemen. Do you know the Chinese never built cricket stadium? Never got locals involved. When we hosted our first international game in the Windsor Park, you know the amount of money that had to be, millions of dollars had to be spent? You had, for example, you had no locker rooms, you had no shower, the players, but it was just chaotic. They had to spend a lot of money to host. I think that's Bangladesh was our first
Bangladesh, yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you. So as you said, you made some valid points there.
Yes, another area, another concept that I want to introduce for Thompson to elaborate on is the marginal propensity to consume.
Mm.
And you find people in trades, the carpenters, the masons, they have a very high marginal propensity to consume. If all the construction that was done in Dominica was done by local persons over the last 10 years, you know what impact that would have on the economy?
Oh, yes, obviously.
Given the persons involved and how you give a carpenter $1, he spends 80 cents. He may save 10 cents, 15 cents, but he consumes. And because of the consumption, money meets money, as Thompson was saying, and the multiplier effect, it multiplies
Yes.
within the economy. Our economy would have overheated
But
Yes.
if our locals were doing all the construction that has happened over the last 10 years.
And you see, just to strengthen your point, Lander, also, you would have locals on the outside selling, you'd have mash outside selling things, selling to
Yes,
strengthen
but
the
no,
economy.
yes, selling by, and that's what Ron is talking about, the
Yeah,
marginal
course.
propensity, because
Right.
this local person, they're going to buy the bakes, they're going to buy the
Of
actors,
course.
they're going to buy local stuff. They're going to be, and typically a lot of that money is spent within the economy. So, and the marginal means for every extra dollar you get, how much of that you spend. So I think it is safe to say for most of our local contractors, for every dollar they get, they spend at least 90 cents or 95 cents. I'm fairly
So that's one of the major areas, that 20-year relationship the Chinese have benefited from tremendously, and Dominica has not gotten any significant benefit.
Yes,
the other
so,
area,
I
the other area I
talked
want to
about-
talk about quickly is the retail sector and how the Chinese have taken over the retail sector in Dominica with poor quality products, displacing local businesses,
Yep.
minimal usage of local services. And consequently, there has been a lot of pressure on the financial sector. You have seen certain banks closing down because there is no demand for those services. When local persons were doing businesses in Roseau, they were taking overdraft facilities to go to shop. They pay interest on that. They see their business is doing okay. They buy a piece of land. They extend on the house. There is economic activity. And you go to the banks, you go to the credit unions to get that kind of money to do the activity. But the Chinese don't do that. They come and sell their low quality products and everything goes out.
Yep.
Yes.
You know, Ron, and 24 years of that. And you know, you wonder what in God's name the Prime Minister was dancing about in China. What was he celebrating? What is there to celebrate in terms of what we have benefited from in this country? You know, 24 years, as you said, and China can boast of the $72 million that they're extracting from an economy like ours. Our local businesses, as you said, have lost out. Many businesses we used to know, you know, Madge and you know, Parade, of all sorts of different small businesses that were owned by local Dominicans over many years have now been absorbed by the Chinese. We import all of this stuff from China. We talked about the construction. So in every facet of that relationship, we have been the losers. We've lost out big time. Big time. So here it is, we are as a small country propping up the giant, where this should be the other way around. We should be the ones benefiting. And then it comes back to the very critical question of what really is in this memorandum of understanding. The Antigua government had a similar memorandum of understanding, and they published it for all Antiguans to see what deal they struck with the Chinese up to now. 24 years later, the Dominican public is asking to see the memorandum of understanding that was signed between China and Dominica. And the Prime Minister continues to say it's none of your damn business. And that simply is not acceptable, Ron. It's simply not acceptable.
It's
That
not
24 years
yeah.
of that relationship, we are destitute. 24 years of that relationship, we are going backward. 24 years of that relationship, we are worse off today than we were 24 years ago. And that simply is not acceptable.
Let's compare and contrast that with the relationship we had with Taiwan. And Lobby made a very important point earlier on in terms of agriculture.
Yeah.
The Taiwanese were introducing new techniques in agriculture to assist farmers to enhance their production. And then they came on with prawns. There were prawn farms all over the place, exporting prawns to Martinique and Guadeloupe. They also was involved in development aid. And more importantly, I was at the National Development Corporation at that time. When we did the research with the design, and we're looking at financing the new airport. And the Taiwanese were inclined to assist us in financing the airport. Finally, in the retail sector, the Taiwanese never got involved in the retail sector. I knew a Taiwanese who was bringing wholesale stuff and selling to Dominicans to get involved in the retail sector. Lobby.
I know. But I agree. I concur with you, Landa, what you're saying there. But at the end of the day, the people, gentlemen, the people are the ones who have to make this decision. That we have to re-educate. A lot of education must be going on right now, gentlemen. We are people
Look at the countries.
back.
Look at the countries in the Caribbean, and I like to pick St. Kitts.
Yep.
St. Kitts were way behind Dominica. Also St. Vincent. They've
St.
maintained
Kitts
their
and
relationship with
St.
Taiwan,
Lucia, by the way, continue
and the
to
countries
have
have
that
moved
relationship.
very aggressively forward.
Yes, and all of those countries around St. Kitts and Lucia, St. Vincent continue to have relationships with Taiwan and
I'm
not
not
the
sure about St.
Chinese.
Lucia. St. Lucia is involved with Taiwan. I know for sure
Yes,
St. Vincent.
yes.
From Madras saying no way.
St. Lucia is.
Yeah,
St.
yeah.
Lucia
And
is.
St.
Yes,
Kitts.
absolutely.
But I like to use one in the windwards, one in the leewards. St. Kitts, St. Vincent, they were way behind Dominica. We were more advanced. Thompson, remember the early days when we used to go to meetings in St. Kitts? St. Kitts was. And you see St. Kitts today.
Man.
You wonder what has
It
happened.
makes you want to cry, you know. It
You
makes you
wonder
want to
what has
cry. I'm
happened.
telling you.
And
telling
those countries have maintained their relationship with Taiwan because Taiwan is seemingly contributing more. Being an island state, it understands our challenges and it contributes more to our development.
They're not a bully. You're dealing with a bully. All right. The Taiwanese when the
We've got a caller there,
Taiwanese
Lobby. Let's take a caller very quickly.
Good
Yeah.
evening, caller.
Yes, gentlemen.
Go ahead, please.
Good evening, gentlemen. I want to say good afternoon to the whole panel. Landa, but that is why I love you, because every time I hear you on the radio, you give me more inspiration to hold on stronger. You understand? Because what you're talking about is absolutely right. As a youth man, I see Taiwan running Dominica. As development, food on your table and money in your pocket. Imagine the man used to turn around for a farmer, go on the farmer land, turn it, give it plants, everything. We had soursop turning like sweet soap, and sweet soap was turning like mango, and mango was looking like soursop. But they were just giving us the technology, how to graft the things, how to have food, how to learn to put money in your pocket. And one of the greatest thing that you ever said, man, is when they introduced prawns, to the average man that have a little piece of land and show him how to put that little prawn from in his garden, man. And money used to flow, man. We had fruits. Now, to look at today, now, things are better. We're not importing things that would make use to us, We're importing things that make no use because we have the best set of things to export. So I keep wondering, in time to come, boy, where we will be. Now, what has caused that, land is because of the runaway mothers that, not teaching the children what they should really eat and how to call a juice. Because when they go in the big supermarket or wherever, Tony, you like a juice? Yes, mommy. What flavor you want? A red one. But that's not a juice, man. That's not a juice. That's a little beverage, to pass in your mouth. It's a soft drink, a sweet drink, my grandmother used to tell me. Now we live in the local things, that where we can take tamarind, passion fruit, and a little what? A little pawpaw thing and mix together. Now we have ginger, guava, and tamarind. But look at flavors we have on the market going the shelves. It's a shame that you go to every supermarket. You see all kind of boxes made, all kind of tropical mix-up juice. And in closing, I am vexed with that because what? Bello had one of the best produce that you could send your child in any supermarket. And take a tin and open it and pour a little cold water in it. And the child would have burst a bread and cheese with that. Mr. Skerritt, I'm saying that for you. Please bring back the agriculture. Please bring back the sport.
Thank you, caller.
Yeah.
Very good contribution. Thank you very much. And we need to address that. And as the caller say, sometimes because of the parents, but I think is generally poor management of the country. You got politicians who are limited very intellectually, and they surround themselves by loyalists who are more limited. So nobody tries to improve on what else is happening. And consequently, we continue to deteriorate in our whole production and our quality of life.
Lack of foresight.
Yeah, and that, as you said, Ronan, I mean, that's where the problem is. The problem has been governance, and then to switch from China to Taiwan and look at the benefits. We are net losers, and we're losing big time. That relationship should be different. We should be exporting something after 24 years. Our products should be on Chinese shelves. I mean, there's just no question in my mind. The boats come from China and they go back empty from Dominica. They should be laden with Dominica products. Why is that not happening?
But Fontaine and Land, Fontaine, you dealt with something there early on, the soap from Grand Bay. I'm always had this thing. I cannot understand. This thing is it's so important. Very, very people love that soap, and it has not been expanded. And we have had all this money we are making for the passports. That could be utilized. When we lost DCP, we had another avenue. We had this corporate came on, but to grasp on it and expand it. We haven't done anything at all.
Lobby, we've got a caller there. Let's take that call.
Good evening, caller. Thanks for your patience. Go ahead, please.
Good evening. Lambi, good evening, man. Welcome back. Nice to hear you sounding good.
Thank you.
I want to say good evening to the panel. I'm not going to call all the names, all the fellas. We know who they are. They know who they are. Guys, I'm listening, and there's one thing missing out of the conversation. And Lobby said it. It's the people. But I want to say one thing concerning the leadership. The people and the leadership are the problem. We're trying to get blood out of stone. If you understand, short shirt tell you can't get blood out of stone. So if you think out of 23 years you got a nothing leadership and you keep looking for more, you're going to get the same result. They say it's insanity to do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. But I want to move on to what Lobby said. It's one of the most immediate things, and that is affecting the country. Okay? And the multiplier effect that Thompson spoke of. Because I mentioned that same thing on my show. Whereas our people don't get it. I think you got to talk to them in very colloquial language half the time because I don't know what it is. I keep saying that, and I might be wrong. Or some people just ignore what's taking place because I hear all this crazy things taking place on the island and nobody move, nobody stand up in mass unless somebody call a protest. If you keep going in the Chinese store or your people keep going in the Chinese store, you cannot blame the Chinese. If they keep voting for a criminal element over and over again, you cannot blame that gentleman. You have to start looking at yourself. Like I'm making an example. Any man in the panel there, you raise your hand and point your finger like you're pointing to someone and see how many coming back at you. And that is for all of us Dominicans. It's not one or the other. If you stay out of the Chinese, so you cripple that. But some of us don't want to hear certain words in the vocabulary when we speak. We don't like to hear boycott. We don't like to hear certain words. I'm not going to mention the rest of them. But that is one of the main things you could do. It's no violence, no nothing. It's effective in any way you look at it. If I don't come to your store, you cannot produce any. You cannot bring any money to your table. You're gonna have to shut your doors, just like they did our local businesses. But I'm listening, guys. The conversation is very informative, but sometimes we got to assess our own action in the thing that has taken place for the last 23 years. Guys, I'm listening and I'm out. Thank you.
Yes, we were supposed to have Mr. Joel Hamilton with us now to discuss some athletics, but it seems to have been delayed. I've got certain recommendations, but we'll deal with that at another time. What I would want to do, we've got an expert here in athletics, so would invite Mr. Loblack to make some comments on athletics, especially the last character games in Grenada.
Oh yeah, yes, Land. I was first of all it was a successful game. Grenada was a wonderful host. That's the third time that they're hosting the character games. And what was very interesting, gentlemen, I mean, they say you look at that. We were the only country there without a track. Every country there, the athletes train on a track. We're the only one that continue to train on grass, if there's a grass track somewhere. And it is sad, very, very sad after all these years that we are plagued. It's that thing is eating up my inner soul. Whenever I look and see what has happened to track and field in Dominica, we have Fountain knows we have enormous talent. Landon knows that in this country, we have enormous talent. We have produced a number of athletes at the character games. I've gotten gold medals, silver, bronze. But
But this time around, what did we get this time around?
No, we got a bronze.
We got a bronze medal.
It's a very good competition. Very
We've
good.
got a caller. Just 1 minute, Lobe. We'll come back to you. We've got a caller.
Good evening, caller.
Good
Sports
night.
Wrap.
Good night, Sports Wrap. Good night.
Good night, good night, good night. Good night, Dodol.
Let me say good evening to Mr. Luis Weber and Locker Sebastian. I wish him recovery. Mr. Lambert Charles, Mr. Dr. Fountain, Mr. Lander, Mr. LeBlanc. Good evening to all yours.
Good evening, my friend.
Good night. Good evening, my.
You know who's speaking? And
Oi.
Mr. Lambert Charles. Good evening.
Yes, sir.
That's Dodol, the great Dodol.
Dodol is a man from the Roseau area, but he's also a Maragot man.
Is Mr. Louis Sickler? Hello?
Yes.
Mr. Louis is not well.
No, he's not well.
Okay. Well, I wish him all the best, and Mr. Sebastian.
Yes.
And you all fellas, be love and be careful.
Thank you very
Love
much.
you all.
Thank you very
Love
much.
you all. Love you all.
All right, Dodol. Thank you very
You
much.
know, Ron,
So
what struck me about the character games is the sheer dominance of Jamaica. I mean, Jamaica got 45 gold medals, and the closest to that was Bahamas with 9.
What is
I
it?
mean, it's just
Fountain, I'm looking. It's true that they had this dominance, but I'm looking right now at the events where, in terms of they compete at a high level internationally. The sprints, the 1, 2, and 4. You can see the other islands are coming up in the 1.
Lobi, do we have any athletes in Jamaica at this point in time?
We had one. We have a sprinter there, Carell. All right. That's why I wanted Joe there, because she came out 4th in the 100 meters under 17. But I understood, she had this she was plagued with an injury after that. So she's going to compete in the 200 meters. Okay, but she gave a good account of herself. A good account for her first time. And she's still young. She maybe have 1 or 2 more years under 17. Since all goes well, I'm hoping that this injury is nothing that serious. Okay, but for example, I could recall years ago talking, the president of the Guyana Association, years ago he told me, "Solo Black, we're going to build our track. Because we realize, all where you have Black people, you have talent." And I'm saying after 5 years, Guyana came up, a tremendous performance. They have some very promising athletes there. And Grenada, all the islands.
even the USVI, Lobby, USVI got 2 gold medals, huh?
I'm telling you.
Because they have the facilities. They're much smaller than we are, but they have the facilities.
Not only that, to understand, gentlemen, in Jamaica, first of all, you have to understand their structure. The people, the population, they have this enormous population, close to 1 million people plus people. The school program is a robust one, Fountain and Land. It's very, very competitive. The training can be brutal. Because you look at Jamaica with the dominance at the youth level. Look at the senior level. How many of those athletes do we see? Even they themselves have realized that. They don't look at this volume at the senior level, because the training is very, very intense. Very, very intense.
But Louis, do we have any other outstanding athletes in the region or internationally who could have participated in the games?
Well,
of any of them?
Well, not in the association. They have first of all, I'm with the association, but we have, as far as they're concerned, they have contacts with, for example, you look at FIA. For example, FIA is a replica of what came at the Carifta Games. She represented Dominica at 2 Carifta Games. All right, so we had FIA there, for example. So we have, other athletes born in the US or Canada or England, Dominican parenting, and they want to represent Dominica. You just contact the association or the DOC. But the Cylinder, we have to tell ourselves right now, right now, what do we want? Do we want to continue at this primitive level in training, primitive, and thus bash in the glory? We're waiting for glory. All right, FIA got a gold medal. You pick and sell. People are jumping all over the place. Oh, we have FIA got a gold medal. Look right now, the Olympic Games, Lander, is a few months away. What are we doing? Do we have banners? Look at, for example, Digicel, Flow. FIA should be on the banner of FIA, promoting FIA for Paris. Do you agree with me?
Yes. But another point we need to make, because it looks like Mr. Hamilton will not show up tonight, and we'll invite him at some other time to have a discussion. Another very significant point is that Grenada is now hosting, or has just hosted, the 3rd Carifta Games.
And the
When
third
will Dominica host a Carifta game?
But any track games besides what can we host?
They just turned down World Cup a while ago.
So when you see that happens, it reflects on the quality of the local talent. You don't have the facilities for your local talent to develop. So we have a critical problem there.
Well,
and the fact is, Ron, we have the natural talent. When I see that we come out 19 out of 20 countries, number 19 out of 20, when we have natural talent, but this talent cannot express themselves, because we're talking about under 20 and under 17 age groups that participate in the Carifta Games. We do not have the exposure that the other young people are having in, these young kids in Grenada, in St. Lucia, in Martinique, in Guadeloupe. They are actually training on those tracks that they end up running on. We don't have that in Dominica after all of these years, after all of these billions of dollars that has been generated in Dominica. So when you think of it, man, governance has just been a problem for Dominica. We've suffered as a country to an extent where it has impacted every single aspect of our country.
Every single aspect is suffering.
Every single aspect, and that's another classic example where our athletes should have been excelling. Our athletes should have been seriously in the top 5 countries in the region, performing at that level. And
but we've got a caller there.
Fighting for last place.
We've got a caller. Let's entertain that call.
Good evening, caller. Thanks for being here. Go ahead, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
To the panel and the rest overseas. I watched that Carifta game in Grenada. It was very impressive. I was the Dominican young lady, yes. And then she's not based in Dominica, she's based in Jamaica.
She's training.
She was not.
No, she's training. She's going to secondary school, finishing secondary school in Jamaica.
In Jamaica. But she was not trained in Dominica.
She started her formal training in Dominica.
When I watch the track that is in Grenada, what do we have in Dominica? We do not have nothing in Dominica. We have a lot of sportsmen and sportswomen in Dominica. We could have at least 10 athletes in that Carista game if we had facilities.
Even more.
So when I listen to some people who want to boast themselves, yes, the young fella from Wesley, he got a bronze. But I wish he's a goal he had get, I would feel better. I feel, well, if Dominica had get at least 2 gold medals and a bronze, I would feel better. But a bronze medal, it was good for him because he worked for that. But what did he achieve from Dominica? Nothing. Because
he still achieved something.
Yeah.
Yes, he achieved a bronze medal for himself. But Dominica, I don't see why Dominica want to beat themselves about it. It's not for them because Dominica don't have no facilities for young fellas, young girls, young boys, for them to achieve something for themselves.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much. We've got another caller. We've got the next caller here.
Yes.
Good evening, caller. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Good evening.
Make your contribution, sir.
Yes. Good evening.
Good night.
I am saying, man, it really hurt my heart how our athletes are being treated. You cannot just do a Easter games before school close, and then you select your athletes and you send them to a Carista game. Just so I was looking at the cricket match when I look at Windward Island went into that cricket match with one batsman, Mr. Fountain. And if Mr. Fountain failed, everything falls.
You're talking about the under 15.
Yeah, under 15.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little later.
We have a problem in the Windward Islands, especially in Dominica. I think if you are choosing athletes to go to a Carista game, they should know that long in advance. They should be training. They should be in training, both personal and both with their coach. They should be put in a classroom, and they should give them tips and share some things with them. Look at videos and different things, and then they can now go to a Carista game. And you find in Dominica, we have it on the worst end because we don't have the field, we don't have the place to train, and we have so many talents. And let me tell you, sports right now, that is the largest pool of employment for our young people. And if our young people is doing well and we're looking at the future of our young people, we have to improve, and we have to improve quickly to make sure that these guys, with the talent that they have, that talent can be turned into profit. That's what I have to say tonight.
Very good.
I'll come back on the cricket.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
But Landa, I want to say something there.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Lobby.
Yeah, the caller just said about training the athletes. He must understand, first of all, you are a serious disadvantage in terms of being a person being involved in the sport, which Fountain knows, coaching and so on. It's not easy. And to have mates. Where you can get the fields, you need mates to have, because the athletes have to start practicing. It's very limited, very, very limited. It's not easy. Where are you going to practice? It's not easy. It's very, very limited. But if you have that track, I can tell you, you can do a world of things, a world of good. Right? In 19...
I wanted to just back Lobby up. 30 years ago, Ron, I was in track and field as the secretary of the Amateur Athletic Association. Right, 30 years ago, and the same problems we're having 30 years ago, even 30 years later, the same issue we're talking about. 30 years is a lifetime for some people. 30 years feels like a lifetime. And the issues we had back then in the 90s, we have it today in Dominica. the lack of field. I mean, I'm even surprised that our athletes keep persevering.
But of course.
And they keep working. They keep striving. But they're at a huge disadvantage. We are not giving them the support that they need.
But look for example. Example there. We have had Dylan Simon. All right. Dylan Simon. Top thrower, I can get an example of what happened to Dylan Simon. Came down to Dominica. We were there training in Dominica. There is a concrete circle behind the no-name stand. I call it the no-name stand. One morning, he came for training. We encountered a generator was installed where the shot put landing. Huh? Tell me.
It's priorities again. No, Lobby, Mr. Hamilton has just joined us. Joel Hamilton has just joined us.
Oh, brother, how are you?
Joel, good to see you, man. Good to see you. In the 90s, Joel was one of our great athletes, in the javelin and so on. It's good to see you, bro.
So we'll allow him to make some general comments on the Carifta Games and any plans for development of athletics in Dominica. Mr. Hamilton.
Well, good evening. I'm to the guys on the panel, and good evening to the listening public. Yeah, I think the 51st Carifta Games, to me, it was a success based on the team we had. I think the athletes went out there and gave a good account of themselves, and this was a reflection as to how we see the selection of the Carifta team. Because when we send the athletes out there, we send them out there to compete, not just for a tour or a line. So I must say the athletes and them gave a good account of themselves over the Easter weekend in Grenada.
In terms of local plans to develop athletics in Dominica, can you tell us a little bit about that, especially facilities? Can you tell us anything about that?
Well, facilities, we know for a fact.
A track.
Facilities for a fact that we don't have the capacity right now in terms of doing that on our own. But in partnership with the DOC, the government of Dominica, and the Dominica Amateur Athletics Association, there are definite plans in terms of developing a synthetic track for Dominica. But for now, let's place a little more emphasis and focus on the athletes in terms of highlighting the athletes, because the athletes are the ones that are supposed to be highlighted tonight.
No, everything must come in play, brother.
So tell us about the promising athletes in Dominica and some in the region and internationally with Dominican contacts.
There was one question there before Joel. Joel, I understood that Currell got injured. He couldn't run the 200 meters. Is that true?
Yeah, it's a slight injury, but at the end of the day, you got to take precaution.
She's
very young.
It was slight. She could have run.
No, Lobby. She has an injury. Is right.
So she came just now. When during the semi-final, she got it in the 100.
Yes, it was aggravated. Yes, she had a slight injury that was aggravated.
So she came with a slight injury.
But let's talk about the performances of the athletes first.
Yeah. No, it's very important. We're talking everything comes into play, brother.
Yes, but let us talk about the performances of the athletes. We have to know the athletes. The athletes and them, because that is one of the things in our culture. We don't celebrate our athletes.
We do celebrate the athletes.
No. We only celebrate our athletes only
not if me.
Only during championships.
No, not if me at all.
Locally, we don't come and support the athletes. I mean, there are a lot of athletes that need, because it's not just, it don't want to be money. There are a lot of things you can do for the athletes. You can, meet them, how are you doing, how your training going?
No, but Joe, that is what you were taught from us. You were part of the Olympians Athletic Club. That was
So that's what I'm saying. So then we need to
highlight.
We need to continue these things in terms of highlighting the positive
and
building the athletes.
You have to do that. We have done that already.
Lobby, like I highlighted last night, we're saying people don't come, and people like the schools and even the children don't come to the games. But we have lost that culture. Even parents don't come out there and even support their children. So you will have your little 15-year-old and the 12-year-old competing. If we have juveniles now, even much younger, and they'll be out there on their own. As we have seen throughout the years in all our sports, all the athletes that have this support from their church, their community, their parents, all of them excel. And you Olympians, you saw that, you knew that.
No, but you
You've
also,
been here
Joe,
long enough.
yeah, you know also that you're talking about the support. You look at what happened, first of all, to grammar school. Taking away the grammar school ground itself, put a dent on sports in the area. In the area, that is help. A number of schools can have a proper sports day. That helps sports a lot, which you know. You can have a proper sports day.
Well, all the schools, well, most of the schools now, I know they're having the sports in the stadium. I mean,
Yeah.
we had one of our greatest sports days in
When how long ago?
all this year we had our sports in
Well,
stadium.
this year, after all those years, eventually it was done there.
No,
How
I
many
can go back. I can go as far back. I mean, we used to go Grand Bay and bus the entire school to Grand Bay. All children used to pay $2, one to go up, one to come down, and the entire school used to go up there. We used to have a full
But Joe,
Uh-huh.
you know that going with your own grammar school, you could do proper training. All right, prepare the athletes properly.
Lobby,
But
this,
you know.
you know, these things are in the past.
Mhm.
If you see the plan, well, I saw the plan is up for everybody to see. We are getting back a playing field, and it's going to be a full-size playing field. But I'm saying is the way forward. We're looking at the way forward in terms of developing track and field and developing our athletes. We creating that pathway, not in terms of the athletes, their mental being, their physical being, their technical being, and also the facilities and the support system.
So Joe, maybe what you can do for us, if you could highlight some of the areas in your strategic plan to improve athletics in Dominica.
Okay.
Going
Nice.
forward, looking forward.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So we just completed this strategic plan in terms of athletics and development. So we are looking at one in terms of the grassroots to improve the pool, because if you have a good base, like a good foundation, the top you're going to get a better structure on top. So that's just one of the things we plan to do. We plan to do in terms of coaching, education, officiating, in terms of the association being independent in a few years, in terms of raising funds and sustainability, in terms of athlete support, both financial and technical, coaches support, and stuff like that.
I just spoke about financing. I saw you got some sponsorship for the Carifta Games. How far is that sponsorship going?
Well, what are you talking about? Uniforms or
just the uniform? I saw some.
This is a 2-year deal with ASICS. It's a 2-year deal. So for 2 years, we're gonna carry the brand, and they sponsor the kits for 2 years. After that, we will have to renegotiate.
Okay. Other financing, DOC and other persons.
Yes,
you get financing from other entities.
DOC, the government has been financing.
Okay, you need to have a financial plan too.
Yeah, right. but let's say,
Joe,
if wait on lobby.
1 minute, lobby. 1 minute.
What we have planned in this strategic plan is that if one day DOC decides, hey, you know what, we cannot give you X amount of support. The government cannot give you X amount. The parent body, which is World Athletics, cannot give you that money again. We need to be in a position, at least by 2030, that we should be able to sustain ourselves. So there are a number of initiatives that we are going to bring forward in terms of raising funds and development in the fundraising for ourselves, not just selling big something like that, sustainable stuff in terms of all that is going to be unfold in the strategic plan, which is already being looked at.
Yeah, it's very good, very good. It's a pity that you're a bit late, and we have other matters that we need to cover.
Can I ask
Joel you have a question for him, Thompson?
Yes, I have a quick question. Joel, congratulations, again on the team and so on. But at the end of the day, you will agree with us, and we've involved, definitely in the day in track and field in Dominica. You would admit that ultimately what's going to drive success for the athletes is the ability to go out there on the world stage and be able to compete with their peers in the region, be able to look forward to going to the Olympic Games. That is the incentive more than anything else that will give the athletes the drive to go out there and to do the hard work. Would they admit that the failure of this government to at least invest in a $100,000 track is what is putting all of our athletes at a huge disadvantage and probably discouraging that base that you want to see. Because for a young person looking to go into track and field might think twice, because they're thinking, can I even get the access to the kind of facilities to allow me to get to that level? What is in it for me? Can I make a career out of it? Would you agree that if the government were to at least give that support, that all your strategic planning and so on would be a lot more, would reap a lot more benefit?
Thompson, there's always room for improvement, and it's a fact. We need a facility. Look, Lobby, since even in your days when you were General Secretary of the association, one of the biggest issues we have faced in Dominica, we know for a fact, is the land. Because of recent times, I think they have identified 2 places in terms of the land for the track, and both times it was a problem in terms of the land. One, I think the land, I think it was not stable and thing. But right now, I think I can say for a fact, I believe that. Not I believe, I know that we are going to get the track very soon.
No, Joe, when you say that you're telling the populace that you're going to get the track, first of all, the land. Where have they identified the land? Because to come out and say that for a fact, the land.
Lobby, my name is Joe Hamilton, right? And I'm a coach. I'm a lover of sports.
I know, where's the land?
Yeah, Lobby, they are what they call protocols, right?
Protocol?
Yeah, they are protocols.
It shouldn't be a secret at all. There's no secret in that.
No, but Lobby,
land has identified.
Lobby, a spot has been identified for a fact.
A spot? Where?
Yes, an area, Lobby, for a fact. But I cannot come and say that no. It has to be done by the appropriate authorities. And we should respect that.
Point taken.
You understand? But I'm telling you. But Thompson, going back to your point, Trennis Hamilton. All right, we train in grammar school, Gardens, and Windsor Park. While I was listening to Lobby about the concrete circle at the back, me and Isaac built that circle at the back for sports division, and we trained there. Dylan trained there also, made it to the Commonwealth finals. Trennis trained there. I remember when the DOC called the AAA and asked, and they called us in and asked, what support we need? I said, one thing we need now is a psychologist. And within a month, I saw a big difference in terms of Trennis' ability and her attitude. So her approach towards training based on her talent, I saw a big difference. There are a lot of other factors, because we can say, okay, you know what? St. Vincent has a brand new track. They have a lot of they have circles, they have a lot of runways, and they didn't win a medal. But at the end of the day, we're not thinking like that.
No, but that they needed for
Lobby. What I'm saying is that what we need right now is to encourage the athletes and them, give them the support we can based on what we have, and then we will negotiate in terms of, because it's a fact, we need a better facility for track and field. It's not
better. We need a track, a simulated track of 400.
Lobby, for example, Lobby, let's just say they build a track in Marigot.
No,
right?
we are not talking about
Lobby, let's talk. We build a track in Marigot, right? Can I go to train in Marigot every day on a track?
That's wherever the track is built, Joe. Just now.
Lobby, we need a track, Lobby, but we need other things beside the track. The track is a need.
I don't. Let's see, but
yes, Lobby. We have other areas to cover.
I know. The issue is this: wherever the track is built, it is welcome.
We'll bring him back, Lobby. We'll bring him back, especially to continue discussing.
Yeah, you're right. Wherever the track is built, it is welcome.
Yes. And the track will be a part of that plan. But there are other major important components that have to be included. Thank you very much, Mr. Hamilton.
One thing, because I came in there and up to now we have not highlighted the athletes. That's what I'm talking about.
We have all those notes in the board because you were late.
Yeah, I know, but the athletes is the most important thing we come and discuss there. We're going to say congratulations to all the athletes. Addison James, he won the bronze medal in the javelin. He threw some 65 meters, which was 7 meters better than his previous best. We had Corel Etienne. She ran 11.883 in the finals. She made it to the finals. We had Jamaica Tit also in the shot put and discus. He was way up there close to his personal best. And all these athletes, Jamaica was his first time in Carifta. We had a 13-year-old for in the javelin. He qualified a distance of 47.96 meters. A 13-year-old for in the 700 javelin.
With potential.
You understand?
Yeah.
So these are the things that things we have to highlight and celebrate. And in that, we will help develop the sport. You understand? And we will fight our battles for the athletes and them where we have to.
All right.
You understand? But guys, thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. Thanks for nice seeing you, my
We'll
brother.
invite you. We'll invite you.
Thanks for
I should make up the
Yeah,
tour.
we'll bring the president.
Yes,
And bring in, we can sit down with and
Yes,
strategy plan in
very
terms
good.
of the way forward for
Yeah.
athletics.
Because if you have that talent there, you have to be able to harness the talent.
Yes.
We'll give that talent to
So
the
that's why we have
talent.
the talent identification,
Yeah.
we have the grassroots,
Yeah.
and we're coming in with the camps. Nice.
And-
And in terms of financial support for our talented athletes and everything like that.
All right.
Wherever
Thank
the
you very
track
much,
is built,
Hamilton.
I am happy. Wherever it's
Thank-
built.
Thanks, Lobby.
Yeah.
Nice seeing you, Lobby.
I too. I couldn't make you out there at all.
You looking younger every day.
Huh?
You look younger every day, man.
Yeah, what I'm doing, I never stop training. brother.
I know that.
Okay, Mr.
Thanks, guys.
Hamilton. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Thanks. Thanks, Ami, for
All
tuning
right,
in.
thanks, Joe. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. That's the plan.
Okay. All right.
You taking
We
a
take
break?
a break.
But
Okay, take a break now. Take a break and I'll call it. Then straight after the break.
So track and field, we really have to continue, and we have some ways to go, but we're getting there. Congratulations again to the athletes. They work
yes,
hard
we have
against
to.
all odds.
on the
And
difficult
we
condition,
really have to beat them up. We really have to compliment them against all of those pressures that they have. They continue to persevere, and to me, that is the biggest thing, man.
and
That
if you
is
could
the
have
fact,
Fountain, if you could have Pierre Lafont on some banners around for the Olympic Games, that will also boost up athletics also.
Yes. It will make people aspire, begin to imagine themselves under the lights,
Of
and
course.
that is one way of encouraging them.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Dominicans, enjoy your property, protect your property. You homeowner and businessman, protect your property, enjoy your property. Can't wait for the hurricane, can't wait till you flood again, can't wait till your roof fly out and all your business coming out. Remember, no insurance company will insure your property when a storm is approaching. Get ahead of the hurricane season and insure with a company who gives you the assurance of payment for your valid claim. Come speak with us today at the New India Assurance Company Limited, upstairs AC Shillingford and Company Limited, 24 King George Street, Roseau. Bring along an up-to-date valuation from a qualified engineer and get insured today.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Dominican, enjoy your property, protect your property. You homeowner and businessman, protect your property, enjoy your property. Can't wait for the hurricane, can't wait till you flood again, can't wait till your roof fly out and all your business coming out. Remember, no insurance company will insure your property when a storm is approaching. Get ahead of the hurricane season and insure with a company who gives you the assurance of payment for your valid claim. Come speak with us today at the New India Assurance Company Limited, upstairs AC Shillingford and Company Limited, 24 King George Street, Roseau. Bring along an up-to-date valuation from a qualified engineer and get insured today.
Good night, good night. We continue the program. Thanks to all listeners, thanks to all our participants. We have a lot of people to engage tonight, and we're going to the next engagement right now. We spoke for a while about athletics. We are going to speak in a while about cycling and also basketball. We also have football on the agenda and cricket. So we've got a very packed program tonight. We want to highlight local activities and boost up local activities wherever we can. All right. Now it's coming on Donnie Robinson. We have got. So we're going to the basketball. Basketball is showing some good potential now in Dominica. There is a competition going on. We're going to get an update on the basketball. Also, there is a guy called Elias Dupie who passed on, and there's got a knockout cup in his name. We also want to speak about the outstanding players, our local and foreign outstanding players. Mr. Donnie Robinson.
Good evening. Thanks for having me again.
Good night, good night. We've got with us Lobby and Thompson Fountain.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Very good evening, Donnie. Good to have you.
Okay. First of all, Donnie, give us an update on the local basketball competition.
Okay, so the knockout leg of the basketball league started about 2 weeks ago now, and we are into our second week actually. So we have had a few teams that are already knocked out, but this week we have a few exciting games. Last night we had our first overtime game. So the league is picking up steam. We are, like we like to say, we're in the business end of the league where you have the more formidable teams cheering up now to begin playing. So this week, tomorrow night and Saturday night we have scheduled 4 good games, and we hope to continue to see the participation that we've been seeing the past week or so increase.
Is it that league that has been named after Elias Dupie?
Yes, so we've named the knockout leg of our 2024 league after Mr. Dupie. Unfortunately, he passed away in an incident on Sunday. We recognize his and appreciated his contribution as one of our top referees over the past years, and as such, we decided to acknowledge him and show our appreciation by dedicating naming our knockout league after him. We also have a few, we do a moment of silence before every game, and we are encouraging teams to wear the black armband again further symbolize our mourning and our
respect and
appreciation
recognition.
for,
Very good, very
yeah,
good.
for what they did. Yeah. So that's the knockout league.
Very good. Anything from you, Lobby or Thompson?
So far, so good.
Okay.
Just express condolences to Mr. Juppie family. Now, I know him very well. Very sad when I heard the death of this young man. You know, very, very active in his community and in sports. You know, just sad. I wish the family to hold strong. On behalf of my wife and the wife is also a good friend of his from the same area. And I just express our condolences and hope that the family they can stay strong.
Yeah, the Basketball Association, I would really want to commend you all for recognizing the contribution that Juppie has made to basketball and naming a competition after him. I also extend condolences to his family. Now, in the competition so far, Donnie, who are the outstanding players? Are we seeing new talent or are we seeing continuous talent?
Well, I think we're seeing we have a crop of young players that are green, of course, but the potential is clear.
Any names? We like to highlight outstanding players.
Yeah, we have a few guys from the Falcons, you know, that stand out. They were there last year, but you can see the continuous improvement. But I want to single out the West Coast young team that is the first time in there, and the entire team just shows good promise. And it's good to see that, you know, a totally new team with totally new players. We're not even familiarized ourselves with their names yet, but they are showing some good promise.
So when you say West Coast, are you St. Joseph, Dublin?
St. Joseph, Dublin, Salisbury, Libby Street. There's a team from there. They have a young team as well from St. Joseph that's showing good promise. We have some players like Yawani, Regis, and Zach from the young team from Bishland that are really stepping up and showing some good promise. And it's still early. We just, you know, some of the teams haven't played yet. So we will, I'm sure next week at this time when it's taking a little more shape, we'll be able to talk about that even more. But yeah, the typical players like you know, we had a guy who scored 63 points Mr. Thomas from the Blazers scored 63 points in a game. So
wow.
It's good to see the continuous improvement, encouraging.
Yes, Donnie, I'm curious to find out about the response of the crowd. Are you seeing a bigger, larger interest from the general public in terms of coming out and supporting the games? Is there an increase in that over the time? You know, over time, are you happy with what you're seeing in terms of the response from the public?
Yeah, I think early in the season we've seen a good crowd. Normally, it picks up towards the semifinals and finals leg of the knockout, but it's encouraging to see that we have decent crowds at the very beginning, where the games are slightly less competitive because you have everybody playing everybody, so you might have some one-sided games. But having said that, what is even more encouraging is to see the new teams come out with their own fans, and it's encouraging. And so the interest is obviously growing. We still obviously have a lot of work to do, and would like to see it continue to grow. But early in the season, yeah, it's good, positive indication. Yes.
No.
Okay, Donnie, we want to continue encouraging the development of basketball in Dominica. We know you've got a tight time span with us tonight. In closing, can you make a few comments on the NBA?
Well,
Lakers.
You know, I'm a diehard Lakers fan, so I'm happy to see Lakers on a 6-game winning streak here. It's really nice to see. Although we are trying to avoid the play-in tournament that's currently at number 9 in the West, but I think Lakers will be there when it's all said and done at playoffs. But it's interesting to see the parity in terms of, or the disparity between the North, the West and the East. You know, you have Boston running away with the East, whereas everybody in the West is just all packed up at the top. I mean, if you look at the West, for instance, it's from 1 to 7. Okay. Number 1 to 7, they're separated by 8 games. whereas in the East, Boston is already way ahead by something like 14 or 15 games. So, the playoffs will be interesting. It will be very interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah. But yes, it's as a diehard Lakers fan, it's good times. So it's been a good week. On the good past 10 days, we've been on a serious hot streak there. So I'm happy to see that.
Very, very good, very good. Let's encourage Dominicans. Basketball is a high energy game. Let's encourage Dominicans to go out and support the basketball. Most of the games are taking place in Massac.
Yes, most of the knockout version is held in Massac because it's short and condensed.
Okay.
So it's like 2.5 weeks. But the league will have games in the districts, as we mentioned before. So, but the knockout, we're keeping it there. And one thing I just want to mention is the knockout ends next Saturday, and we are launching the Women's League that very same day.
Very
so
good.
we will kick off the Women's League on the 13th, which I think is next Saturday, 11th or 13th, probably in front of me, but it's next Saturday. And so we're encouraging the young ladies and the general public to come out and support. So it will be the finals of the game of the knockout league. It will be the launching of the female league, and also we'll have an exhibition from one of the young up and coming basketball camps that is operating. So we're just trying to highlight as much as we can.
For this weekend, Donnie, what days and time do we have games?
So we have games on Friday. Tomorrow we have games from 7, one game at 7, one game at 9. So there are 2 games on Friday. There's no games tonight. And then there are 2 games on Saturday, one at 7, one at 9 as well. So the games tomorrow will be, I'll just quickly go through it. It will be the defending champions from last year, the Falcons Division 1. They'll be playing the Blazers Division 2 in one of the games tomorrow night. And in the other game, it will be the winner of the 2 winners from last night would have played, which is the Falcons and the Tigers. So you'll have 2 games tomorrow night, as well as on Saturday night, where we will have Blazers 1 playing against 767-2 and 767 Dominators playing against the X-Men at 9 o'clock. So good games this weekend, and let's hope that we'll get some turnout. And
what's the entry fee? How much do you pay to come to the games?
$5.
Okay.
For adults,
all right.
We try not to charge.
Yeah, that's a reasonable charge. So please, Dominicans, let's go and support basketball. Thank you very much, Donnie.
Anytime. I really appreciate it.
Okay, we'll continue being in contact so we can promote basketball in Dominica. Thank you very much, brother.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Yes, we're going to try it again to get Mr. Ron Charles. We also have 2 other persons, Mr. Ebby Lawrence in football, to give us an update. And we also are looking at David Johnson in cricket. A lot of stuff is happening in cricket. We're about to go to an under-19 competition. There's an upcoming competition. The under-15 games have just completed. And there is something very exciting happening in the Windward Islands training camp, which we'll be speaking about a little later.
Oh, I can't wait. I hope it's what I'm thinking, Ron. I hope it's what I'm thinking.
Let's hope Ron Charles can come on now to tell us a bit about cycling. We seem to have a problem with Ron Charles because we've been trying to get him and his phone has been cutting off. But there are certain activities coming up, local and regional competitions, and we've got some very outstanding cyclists now in Dominica. So we need to make mention of those things.
Good evening, caller. Please go ahead. Yes, caller, please go ahead.
Hello,
Yes, good evening.
Mr. Charles, you're okay?
Well, I'm getting okay. Not there yet.
Well, you're sick and you're back at home.
Yeah.
But I want to tell Mr. Lander, he must be truthful. Don't lie to us listeners.
Where did I lie?
You told Dodal that Dodal asked you if Ozzy Lewis is sick. He said yes, but you don't know nothing about Ozzy. So you should say, I don't know. Okay? You should say, I don't know. Don't say yes, because you don't know anything.
Okay. Yes. So let's see if we can get Ron Charles now to come on. With the absence of Ron Charles, we'll attempt to get at another person, another contributor.
Football, cricket.
Football, because we seem to be getting a problem in getting Ron Charles on over and over again. How do you see football right now in Dominica, Lobby? If you want to talk about football generally in Dominica.
I mean, well, Landa, first of all, you have had the PRO, on Sports Rap. And I'm looking at, in terms of our standard, because I've viewed some of the games on social media. I'm watching some of the games I've seen from last year, and I'm not satisfied with the quality I am seeing. We have serious deficiency and in going forward. Because presently, look, we are a member of FIFA. So we're exposed to big football at the youth level, at the senior level. All right, I'm looking at, for example, like Trinidad. Look at Trinidad. We're sending our footballers to Trinidad. The national team is trained, but they have a foreign coach. So why can't in Dominica? All right, look, other islands. Look, you have the foreign coach to help your coaches to move the football forward. Yes, you may have them getting, going and do A or B or C license. But get somebody that's much more experienced, who have been involved and understand modern under the football. Because,
Yes, that's one side of it, but you can also build your local capacity.
You have to
build local capacity at the same time.
You know what I'm saying, Land? The foreign coach will help. He will help the local coaches at regular sessions. First of all, at a system. We have to know what system our football going to play. Systems are changing right now. All right? Can we still stick into 4-4-2 or 4-3-3? What are we sticking to? All right, the teams. You look at the teams. What are the most of the teams playing the same system? That the thing is that we have to look towards too. And looking at our youth level, the youth. The other teams are improving. That's why looking at the senior teams are improving. Because the youth football is improving. I'm not seeing that at all.
Ron, Joel talked about a strategic plan for track and field. And I'm thinking that I'm not sure if they have it within the football, but I think that's probably what is needed. Because what you really want to do, you want to see how you can move football from where it is today to, say, kind of a 10-year horizon. Okay, and what I think that could happen a lot more within a football in Dominica is that you absolutely have to target these kids 5-6 years. You have that is where it starts. That is how it is done elsewhere. You begin that. So in the primary schools, for example, I would like to see a serious program started with the kids there within the primary schools. If it is possible to set up academies, in those different areas. What we do have in abundance in Dominica is a lot of natural talent. But what we need to do,
how do we harness, how do we manage that talent?
Right, to get us to where we are, because we are lagging behind in a lot of ways, but I think it's not what it calls for is a more determined effort on our part. That we could also help the situation again by government playing its part. If you have somebody who feels lit it up. For example, when I'm in Grandfather, I run in my little game bike. I mean, 5:30, it's dark. You have to stop playing. It would be nice, to have.
We've got Eddie Lawrence with us now on the line, so we can bring him in, so he can give us an update on football in Dominica. Eddie Lawrence, good night, sir.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you all doing?
Okay.
Very well, Eddie.
I'm doing fine, praise my God.
Amen. That's it. We do fine by God. Everything is by His grace.
So tell us what's happening in football.
Well,
the league.
For the week, this weekend we'll have the commencement of the Premier Games.
Okay.
From Friday night, the Premier League will officially commence, and it will be Petro Caribe Port Michel versus Promex Salem. That's the first game at 6:30 p.m. at Stock Farm.
Oh, that's a big game.
Yeah, Petro Caribe Port Michel versus Promex Salem. And on Saturday, we have the Roosevelt Scarlet Bombers. Formerly they were the Bombers FC of Portsmouth, but their name changed now to the Roosevelt Scarlet Bombers versus Sagico Southeast. That game will be at 4 p.m. at the Benjamin Stark in Portsmouth. And newcomers to the Premier League, Belfast Estate Mao Soca Strikers FC, will come up against the champions, I would call them, Central Cooperative Credit Union Dubla FC at Stockholm at 5 p.m. that very Saturday. So some good football will be going on. And on Sunday, we have Bath Estates coming up against Connect 767 East Central at 4 p.m. And later in the evening, we have Tranquility Beach Middleham United coming up against Valvoline We United. So that's the weekend fixtures for the commencement of our Premier League.
There's a lot of games coming up. And in terms of your officials, you don't have any difficulty in getting officials for those games?
Well, we've deployed the small pool of officials that we have accordingly. And one of the things that is happening presently is that there is another group of officials being trained. So soon enough, we will be utilizing their skills and the very areas that they were taught to enhance and better our games.
Okay. We try to engage you as often as possible on Sports Rap so we can promote football in Dominica. But the upcoming games, are there any adverts out? Are there any promotions out to tell people about those games?
Well, I've since sent the normal audio to the various media houses. And like I said last week, going forward, that this is what we are looking to develop. To every advertisement or advert that goes out, there is a cost. And sometimes people might say or presume that much is not being done, but some of these monies could go towards even the players' development. So we are right now looking at a package, and we've since had some people and some firms sending some proposals within the FA, and that there is a marketing committee that is put together to go over some of the terms and conditions. So it's going to be a different vision, a different platform going forward. But for this weekend, no, we do not have advertisements.
Okay.
So,
in terms go ahead, Thompson.
Yes, I wanted to ask him, is there any thought been given to probably a little entrance fee or something that would probably help in that regard?
Well, Dr. Thompson...
Passe la chapeau.
I was about to say to you and Lobby and the others, this is one of the areas we need to start considering. If you all could help with the broadcasting and all these things, I mean, we are so limited when it comes to some of the facilities in Dominica. How can we help better the product, and how can we help market the product? So Pastor Chapeau, yes, it's a good venture, but I'm not speaking for people's behalf, and neither am I speaking really FA, but most times you hear people say, oh, well, they do not have anything, and why should they contribute towards this? Not knowing that the very Pastor Chapeau could go back towards the players. But that's a
consideration. Yeah, the only reason why is that I have seen a great deal of interest in the sport. I mean, I have attended games where
very.
And even if I mean, it could be and Ron talk about passing in the chapeau. Probably for now, instead of having a compulsory fee, you can just probably pass around and ask people who can. We know it is in Dominica and this stuff. It might take a little while for people to be in a position where they can actually pay $5 to come to a game. But probably just, those who can, because that's one way you help to support the effort. And as you said, it can go back, be plugged back into helping, the young players. I think it's time to look at that, because the crowds that you have, if a quarter contributes something, or half, you can really get somewhere.
Well, this is one area that was spoken about. What a concerted decision wasn't taken. But again, I know that there are others on the executive that listens to Sports Rap. So I know when the executive will meet again, this very idea of passing the hat around will come up again. So so at the end of it, we are on target with this one.
You said that Maho is back again in the Premier Division.
Yes, Maho is back. Maho were the ones that were promoted to the Premier League, and we have
they were relegated.
Have been relegated.
Weren't they relegated some years ago?
Maho, yes, they were. So, but they are back.
Okay, all right. Good to hear that.
And I must say that this is one of the things we'll be looking out for. We'll be looking forward to seeing great things from.
In terms of upcoming regional and international competitions, anything in the near future? Any regional competitions or international competitions in very near future?
Well, where we stand on the 9th of June, we'll be having the World Cup qualifiers versus Jamaica. The executive will be meeting on Monday, so as soon as we meet, the general public will get information as to where tickets will be purchased and going forward, what will happen, how will it happen. So for now, I'm not at liberty to give more information about that, but I just know
do we know what date
the Jamaicans will be coming.
They'll be coming to Windsor Park.
Yeah.
Do we know what date they're coming?
The 9th.
The 9th of
June.
Yeah.
9th of June.
Okay.
That's good.
So mark that on your calendar.
Yes, and we need to publicize that on the Sports Rap. We need to publicize that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm saying to us, come Monday, that the executive, the FA executive will be meeting. So when things are ironed out and information will be given to the members of the executive and to myself, we will have a better communicate. Most likely, you might find me coming and sit now in the Sports Shop to speak more of the World Cup qualifiers.
Very good. But notwithstanding, we want to encourage persons as much as possible to support the sports. We've heard about the basketball going on. We're hearing about the football. Please, let us go out there.
And then we have cricket coming up.
And support our young athletes.
One thing I must say, and I'm not boasting really because it's football, this is one of the sporting disciplines in Dominica that we see quite a number of persons, regardless of the rivalry amongst the team. It brings that community around them. And yes, like I've stated to you last week, this is a new trust that we are looking towards bettering a better product. And we are encouraging the very teams to have replicas of their shirts and within their very club discipline, find ways and means that they could even promote a player. They can sell some of the T-shirts that they have and make it different.
That's good. Very good.
Okay.
And what is happening now within the confines of the DFA, on Tuesday we had the tryouts of the under-14. We are now having under-14 tryouts. Well, for the under-15 tournaments that will be coming. So you will know shortly who are the selected ones. So right now it's just, we had regional training centers opened. So we took the best of the players from the various areas and we bring them together. And right now they will be selected soon enough to commence their training for the under-15 tournament that will be coming up in August. So you see, again, it's a different approach as to how things were done before. We just call people 2 months, 3 months before and put them in national training. That is something we are considering. And one of the problems we face in the country, and we are seeking ways, and gentlemen, if you have ways, you could always help us. Some of our players, I mean, we know the struggles that after work, they would find themselves going to training. And this now makes things difficult for them, although, yes, the DFA have found ways and means to get transportation to take them to and from work. But let's say, for example, a player is a construction worker. After a rigorous day at work, how do we
compensate, I would say, him for probably not working 3 months, 4 months. And this now we need to start thinking differently. And again, we cannot say much, but all this to better the product, like I said to others, do not just lament, oh, the FA is not doing good and the FA is not doing that. There are so many issues that needs to be ironed out if we are looking for a better Dominican product. And hence, the government, the very private sector, they come on board and hence do something different, help if it's to subsidize. No, that is not on the FA's perspective. I'm just looking at things from the inside and bringing it out and help subsidize the very players. We send some of the very best ones to come in, if it's in Antigua, Trinidad for some months to come back. We need to start thinking global if we want to see a product to develop. And hence the next 3 years, God gives life and strength. You will be seeing that approach by me, because I said one of these days I would have spoken to Dr. Thompson from Tidnet, not being biased. No, that is not only DFA's point. How can we better an athlete from Grand Fond, his constituency? Sibo, how can you better an athlete from Colio? Mr. Landa, how can you better an athlete from Roseau? When we have 5 of these athletes coming down, we have a champion to deal with.
Yes,
and that's how we need to look at things.
Yes, Ebi, this underscores the importance of strategic planning. If you've got a strategic plan outlined properly, and this is how I need to finance my plan, you could approach certain people, this is what I want to do, but I need the financing to take care of it.
And Mr. Landa, I'm so happy you spoke about strategic planning. As of the 27th of, it may sound late, but on the 27th of April, we will, that the executive and other stakeholders will be meeting to really revisit football in Dominica. And hence, the strategic plan for the next 3-4 years we will be unfolded as we go about. Because it's not a carte blanche anymore. It's let's see how we can better Dominica's product. Let's move from where we are, the 185, the 182s, and let's move on to the 130s, to the 120s. This is the vision that is coming ahead.
Very good, very good. In closing, because time is a little tight here, in closing, we discussed a benefit game. Were you able to discuss that within your association?
We did, and because of how the Premier League has opened, but you will receive information by Tuesday how we are going to execute it.
Yes, beautiful. If you want involvement of Sports Wrap, we are prepared to make our contribution.
Yeah, how we are the execution.
Yes.
We want as much as possible that the beneficiary get a benefit, not just anything.
Very good. Very good.
So we are looking forward to working with you all and bettering that for Dana Ito.
For Dana Ito, we're doing a benefit game for Dana Ito.
Yeah.
He's not too well now. Yeah.
As soon as things are ironed out by Monday into Wednesday, you will know
very well.
Where we start.
Very well. Thank you very much, Ebi. Have a good night for the rest of tonight.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay.
We are now going to look at a little cricket. And I'm getting some information before we get on, Mr. Johnson. I am getting some information that we're going to have on the 19, the Windward Islands on the 19 cricket tournament starts in Dominica this Sunday. And we're encouraging, as we did for the other sports, we're encouraging parents and youngsters to go out and support those games. The games will be played at the Benjamin's Park and the Geneva playing field. Dominica plays St. Vincent at Portsmouth on Sunday, and St. Lucia plays Grenada at Granby. On Monday, Dominica plays Grenada in Portsmouth, and St. Vincent plays St. Lucia in Granby. The tournament continues throughout the week till next Sunday. So please, sports lovers, there's a lot of sports happening now in Dominica that you should go out, entertain yourself, and contribute to the development of young people. This is one of the ways young people could develop themselves.
Absolutely. We need to support them. And there is a young player. I was asking whether he's going to be on the under 19. I'm told that he will be playing. That is a talent you want to go out there and see. The young Fontaine boy. who is obviously a great batsman, also a great bowler as well.
He was the captain of on the 15. Windward's on the 15.
15 captain for the
Yeah.
Windward Islands, but he took 5 for 18 against Barbados in the last game. Almost single-handedly wrecked the Bajans. They end up scoring 297. But in 4 overs, he took 5 wickets for 18 runs. And so he's a talent, I believe, and in his batting, as an earlier caller says, he's the only batsman on the Windward Islands team. And he scored 45 against Guyana, and I think he got a lot of runs against the other teams, but he did not do very well against Barbados, who went on to win the championships, the under 15 championship. But that is a talent that you need to go out and see. I'm not sure if Stefan is still on the team.
We'll talk about Stefan. We've got David Johnson on the line
Okay.
to talk about some cricket. So let's bring in Mr. Johnson, David Johnson.
Yes. Good evening to you. Good evening to you guys. Good to your panel. I'm not with on who was on tonight, but good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
We've got Thompson, Dr. Fontaine. We've got Low Black, Emmanuel Low Black, Ronald Lander, and Lambie at the controls.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, good evening, Mr. Loblack, Mr. Fontaine.
Good evening, brother.
Good evening to you.
Yes, and I'm in Lander. Yes, I know you want to know again, get an update in reference to happening with cricket, whether it's local, regional. I want to go beyond the region, but I could probably give you some information based on your request. I could firstly inform your panel and the listening public online, locally, regionally, and beyond that we have another under 19 tournament sponsored by Winlot Inc. We actually be taking place in Dominica, starting from the 7th of this month, which is Sunday, up to the 14th. We again fortunate to have the Winlot Inc. sponsoring the tournament once again. Since 2015, I think they have been sponsoring the tournament. It's really great about them. I want to, on behalf of the Dominica Cricket Association, I just want to thank them again for being again come on board and sponsor the tournament. Yeah. So we have the tournament on the 7th. We are using the 2 venues, which is the Benjamin Park and the Geneva Playing Field. I can gladly to inform you that after 9 years of absence, we have the cricket going to be played at the Geneva Playing Field in Granby, which is quite unfortunate, but it is what it is. I mean, we can only feel joyous about it, that we're going to get back cricket back in Granby, actually, at the Geneva Playing Field. And another venue is Benjamin Park. And I could say that on Sunday, we have 2 matches starting. We have the St. Vincent playing Dominica at the Benjamin Park and St. Lucia playing Grenada at the Geneva Playing Field. All the games will start 9:30 a.m. daily. It will be a 50-over tournament. Where each team will play each other twice. So each team will have 6 games played in all. And it won't have a semi-final and a finals, but the team end up with the most points will win the championship. And afterwards, so that there will be an under-19 team being selected from the tournament to take part in the West Indies under-19 tournament, which has been held in St. Vincent later down in the year. This is like this summer.
Yes, so about some of the players that will be representing Dominica, especially we just under 15 competition was just completed, and there was one very outstanding player called Fontaine. Will he be involved in that competition?
Yeah, actually, we had on the Winwood under 15 team, we had Dylan Joseph, we had Aidan Burton, we have Ellen Pascal, Arsenio Fontaine, and Jason Joseph. Arsenio Fontaine, which you know was is a bright star up and rising. He's currently on the 19 team, Arsenio Fontaine. And the others we have on the team, but unfortunately they're on the reserve, Dylan Joseph and Aidan Burton. They're on the reserve, but Arsenio Fontaine is on the 19 team. I can safely say that he's a bright prospect. He's a very good batsman, a very good player. And in the future to come, we can only look for good things about him. I hope that he could maintain himself and discipline himself, have some good people around him to nurture him, to manage him properly, that he followed the right path in terms of getting some good fortunes in the near future to come.
Can you tell us about other bright spots?
Is he a spinner or pace or medium pacer?
Well, actually, Osinio, his primary role is a batsman, but I can tell you that he's also bowls and he also wicket and he also does wicket keeping.
But I mean, what does he bowl? Is he a pacer or a slow bowler? Because I saw
he's a medium pacer. He's a medium pacer also. He bowls medium pacer also.
Yeah. I saw he took 5 wickets against Barbados, 5 for 18. So he's
exactly. He actually 4.2 overs, 5 for 18 against Barbados. That's the last match there.
Yeah.
In Dominica, do you have you seen any promising genuine fast bowler emerging in Dominica? Then from now.
Well, there's one fella, Gillon Tyson, who is on the Windward Islands team.
Is he a fast bowler?
Yes. He's big, he's strong, and he can
develop.
Strong,
but how quick is he?
He can develop, Lobby. He's still a young player.
That's true.
Tyson.
Oh, yeah. Gillon Tyson?
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, he got some pace. I mean, I could safely say probably he's currently in St. Vincent. Well, the Windward Islands Volcanoes team has been selected for this the last 2 rounds of matches. I don't have the team actually in front of me right now, but I don't want to be too much on it because I want to have the final team. But I know he's proven that he's fit. Most likely he's on the team. So, but I cannot give any information right now because I don't have it in front of me right now.
But whilst we're on that topic there, the Windward Islands training camp, most remarkably, Stefan Pascal and Gian Benjamin were also called up to that camp.
Yes. Actually, they were called up by the Windward Island Volcanoes for the last 2 rounds of matches.
Okay, they will be there for the last 2 rounds of matches.
Yeah.
Okay, that is very good.
Yeah.
Because I think Stefan needs that kind of exposure. He needs to be in that kind of environment so he can develop his cricket.
Yes.
And also Gian Benjamin.
Excuse me?
So Stefan will not be there for the Windward Island Championships then?
So Stefan, no. Stefan won't
under
be
19, he wouldn't be there for under 19.
Yeah.
No.
I think we have a fairly good team. Yeah, we have a very good team, I would say. I mean, I have confidence in the guys. They can do.
Tell us call some names of the batsmen and the bowlers.
I can call out the team for you.
But just highlight certain players. We want some highlights.
Well, I can. Okay, firstly, I can say. I mean, Jason Vidal is the captain.
Jason Vidal. That's very good.
Jason Vidal.
Very young talent. Very promising talent.
Yeah. We have Edmond Morency. I think you would have familiar with this name. He bats well left and he bowls a very good medium pace, very good pace. I mean, he was very impressive in the league, in our intermediate league, playing for the Starlight Stop. It's very impressive. It's very good. We have Jelani Joseph. I think Jelani Joseph is a current Windward Island under 19 player. Windward under 17 player, a very good leg spinner. And we are our own senior Fountain. And we are Kind George. He's a wicket keeper. I mean, he's a very good wicket keeper. He plays, he already represented Dominic on the 19 team. We have Luvio Charles, a very good player, also a left-handed batsman. He represents Dominic on the 19 already. We have Joel Dura. I think you're familiar with this name, Joel Dura. He's a very good off spinner. And others, I would say we have Kenneth Valmore. He's a young player from the Caribbean Reserve. I think a very good upcoming player. So in the mix of those names I call, I can say we have a very good team that we could at least give a good show and be competitive at this tournament. Not forgetting there's a young man named Darren Tuse. He's a very exciting player. I mean, he hits the ball very hard. And hopefully that we can actually see some good of him during the tournament. So all in all, I think we have a very good all-around team. And they can give a good account of them themselves as long as they stay focused and do what they have to do.
Very good. Jason Vidal, the captain, I've been hearing a lot about this youngster.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, he happens to be in my class up at the college. And I've been hearing and we recognize him in the class and then promote him and incentivize him in the class, to go ahead and excel in his cricket.
Yeah. We have another young player, Dion Roll. I think he's a very good player. I'm not too sure if you familiar with this name, but Dion Roll, he's a good batsman, so he's a good open bat. He hits the ball very hard. But as I said earlier on, that we just hope them guys stay focused, keep doing what they're doing, train hard, work hard, and when it comes to the tournament, they can give a good show to actually show what they can do actually during the tournament.
Right now, something good is happening in cricket. Under 15, Windward's team, the captain came from Dominica.
Yes.
West Indies under 19 team, the captain came from Dominica.
Yes.
Right now in Windward's team, we've got 5 players.
Yes.
We've got to continue working with our players. That reminds me of the days when we had 7 players on Windward's. And this is very encouraging.
And don't forget the Windward Islands Falcons captain is a Dominican, our own Ali Kavanagh.
Very well, very well. Ali Kavanagh is exceptional. We've got 2 test players from Dominica now.
Yes.
Yeah, 2 test players. And so Dominica cricket is developing and we need to continue supporting it. And more importantly, I keep on saying that because of my training, strategic planning. What plans do we have to manage some of our exciting talents? So we need to continue working on that.
Yeah, this is very important in terms of managing the players to make sure they're in good space, in a good mindset, and they have the correct people around them to manage them. Because sometimes at that tender age, in their teens, they could be a little wayward. So you have to
carried away. Yes. But, so let's encourage Dominicans. Something is happening in cricket. Something is happening in cricket. So let us go out and support this regional competition, this under 19.
Yes, Dominica need to come out in the numbers.
Please let's go to the numbers.
Yeah, those matches will be streaming live. It will be streaming live. Both matches at both venues will also be streaming live. So
can you get information where they can pick up that stream?
Yeah, well, I mean, on the DCA page, I don't have it right now, but on the DCA page, we will actually post the link. It will be on. So I don't really finalize yet. I don't want to give you information which I'm not concrete as yet, but it will actually be on the DCA Dominican Cricket Association Facebook page.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We're coming to the end of our program. Thank you very much. We'll be in contact with you next week so you can give us an update on the local competition.
No problem.
All right. Thank you very much. So please, Dominicans,
yes,
you were informed tonight of good things happening in football, in basketball, in cricket. Let us go out and support our young people. Give our young people optimal support.
Yes, Ron, indeed. I just want to echo that. Come out there, support the young boys. We have a lot of cricket coming up as well. The championship continues next week. Windward takes on the academy, the West Indies Academy next week, and then the following week, Windward take on the Leeward, and that I believe is going to determine who wins that championship. All right, if Windwards are able to, well, hopefully they win that game. And then they go on to win the championship. They've never won a championships, and we're hoping that this is the year that they're able to do it. And as well, on the 18th, West Indies women will be in action against Pakistan. So the West Indies women will be on tour in Pakistan. They have the first game on the 18th. And, I was hoping we'll have more time. West Indies are going to play in a free test series in England in July, and I want us probably next week, Ron, to discuss that. I have some ideas about the opening. I want us to have a discussion about the openers for the West Indies. So a lot of exciting cricket, a lot of good stuff going on. We really encourage all of our listeners, in particular, to support the under-19. It's happening in Dominica. We have been disappointed in not getting the World Cup. The World Cup again is coming up. We're going to get a chance to talk about the World Cup, to talk about the players. It's exciting to see Russell, Powell, even Hetmeyer getting some runs, and doing some things, It is good to see. I hope Shama Joseph is given a chance to play on the West Indies team, because we need to beef up our bowling. And so hopefully next week, Ron, we'll be able to spend some more time talking about the
Thompson,
World Cup.
Just 1 minute. We have Ron Charles who wants to make a few comments. Go ahead, Ron Charles.
Good evening to all your listeners, and let me just say that we have big things are happening for the Dominica Cycling Association, and that is our grand opening. The grand opening will be held on Sunday, the 7th. My boys bar from 9 a.m. in the morning. The good thing about this opening, this grand opening, is that we have foreign Original cyclists will be joining us from Antigua and Barbuda. Of course, we'll have those from St. Martin, and we will have from St. Lucia. So this is a land breaking event for us, opening that we have persons joining the event. So we're looking forward to it. All we want to say is to thank to all the sponsors and thank to all those who are making it possible for Sunday. And that, of course, we want our road users to know between 9 and 12, we will be by Marbois Bar around Canefield Route. And we just want everybody to look out for the cyclists. And thank you for the opportunity, and God bless.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are coming to the end of the program, so we can get some closing remarks from Lobby, then Thompson, and then we'll tie up for the night.
The only thing is that when we had Joel, he made an observation that St. Vincent with a truck didn't get a medal. I just find that wasn't making any sense to me, because you have to build. You need to build. All right. And also Landon Fontaine, the cricket tournament here. And I've been hoping that you have to start having banners. Have some banners at least one in strategic areas.
Promotion.
So people will be informed. What do you think of that?
Yes. To Lobby promotion. That's good. You sound like a money man. Thompson, you're closing.
Well, Ron, I'm ecstatic. I'm very happy to hear that Stephen Pascal has been called up to the Winmore team. We have been agitating for this. We've been calling for it here on Sports Wrap, and it's good to hear that he is, in fact, with the trading squad. I hope he gets a chance to play both games. So let's see, and let's wish him well, as well as the rest of the team. Let's hope that Winwoods can get their act together, that they can win these last 2 games and come out on top. They need to get both games to ensure they
the winner
as the winners of this tournament.
Who has the most points, Fontaine?
Sorry?
Who has the most points will be
the most points. Leeward still has the most points, but
right.
We play Leeward's last. So it means that if we win our next game and we play Leeward's, we stand a chance of winning the championship. Right. So that is what I'm backing up.
Interestingly, Leeward has 2 good players of Dominica orientation, 2 Louis brothers.
Well, and then we have to talk. I want us in a discussion to talk about this opener, and should he be given a look in for the West Indies team? So
next time we'll talk about that. But in closing, what I would want to do is to encourage Dominicans to go out and support the sports in Dominica. We've got 3 major sports taking place in Dominica. We've got cricket, we've got football, we've got basketball, and now Ron Charles is telling us about cycling. So we need to go out there and give that type of support to our young people so they can appreciate and grow in the sports. Thank you very much.
And let Dominicans put the date of the 9th, June 9th,
okay.
Jamaica.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for all the participation. And we'll see you again next Thursday. Good night, everybody.
Dominicans, enjoy your property, protect your property. You homeowner and businessman, protect your property, enjoy your property. Can't wait for the hurricane, can't wait till you flood again, can't wait till your roof fly out and all your business coming out. Remember, no insurance company will insure your property when a storm is approaching. Get ahead of the hurricane season and insure with a company who gives you the assurance of payment for your valid claim. Come speak with us today at the New India Assurance Company Limited, upstairs AC Shillingford and Company Limited, 24 King George Street, Roseau. Bring along an up-to-date valuation from a qualified engineer and get insured today.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl